This video is brought to you by our friends at Squarespace.
Good morning and welcome to TREBINJE, the Sun City, the Stone City, right in the very south of Bosnia. We actually got the bus from Mostar and arrived late last night, and I bet if I asked you to point out the city of TREBINJE on a map, you would probably struggle. This is actually in the Republic of Srpska, which I'm not going to go into too much detail, but you'll notice a lot of differences here. There will be a lot of Serbian flags, monasteries and churches, whereas in the rest of Bosnia you're going to find, of course, the Bosnian flag and a lot more mosques. But we are actually staying within history, in the old city walls, looking over the river, and behind me is our balcony. This is one of the coolest accommodations we have ever stayed at.
This is actually known as the most beautiful city in the whole country, which makes me excited because both Sarajevo and Mostar were both beautiful. But we actually met with the owner of this place. This is Humsko. They have the restaurant Humsko, which is actually one of the best rated restaurants in the city. And she told us that when they were sort of like rebuilding, they knocked down and found all these authentic walls. So around the hotel and in our room, which I'll show you in a minute, you'll see the original walls, which is so cool to be staying in history.
Layers of history.
Layers, so many different layers of history. But this is our beautiful balcony. As Matt said, you can see the river, you can see the walls, you can see Ottoman buildings, and surrounding us is just the mountains because you're in this beautiful valley and you've got to mind your head to come in.
History was not designed for 6'2" people.
You've made it anyway. So as I was saying, as you can see inside the room, these walls are actually original. It's the same throughout the hotel, which I think is super unique and a really lovely touch. But we have, it's like an attic room. It seems to be a theme in the country here. So we have our bed, we've got our table and chairs, storage. You'll have to excuse the mess. And she also mentioned over here that she finds things from around the country, sort of vintage things, and does them up, sort of upcycles them. I love that as well. And the open shower.
That gave me a fright this morning. Now this is actually my favourite part, if we remember how to do it.
Oh, well, okay. No.
Push, higher, higher, higher. You got it.
Yeah. Okay, right. Whew. And now, do you remember how to do this bit? They have thought of everything. So initially there will be a step here so that you can step out, but you have an open balcony over the river.
What a view! Okay, this gets even better. We realise that this pulls up, and now we really do get panoramic views of TREBINJE.
What a clever idea. I mean, they really did think of everything. You can see people on their canoes, and I believe this is the Trebinska River.
Now for me, this is the crowning glory of this place, the layers of history, but then you can come down to the restaurant, which is right on the river below. And this is where we're going to enjoy our breakfast. Cheers.
Shivali, this is a spot and a half to have breakfast down on the riverbank. It's absolutely stunning. I've got a prosciutto and cheese omelette, and I'm so excited by these priganice. They're like little dough balls. I think the pronunciation or the translation is dough hole. Was that right? It sounds so funny. And we have Ivar and Kaimak, so I think I might have it with Ivar today rather than Kaimak. No, could you imagine? Look, I love like hamster cheeks. So good. The best thing about these is because it's a dough ball, you can have it sweet or savoury, and this morning we went for savoury.
As breakfasts go, you're not going to get many better locations in the world than that. I can see why they call this the most beautiful town in all of Bosnia. Have a look. Look at that. This is the property we're staying in. That is the restaurant. That is the old town. It's pretty special. It's so unique. There are like these little tunnels behind that lead directly from the property into the old town. Unfortunately, The drone has decided to retire itself after 4 years of hard work. It decided to just stop working, lose signal, and slowly land in the river. Fortunately, we have already ordered a new one. It was already getting booted out because it wasn't working properly, so it isn't the end of the world. And this is the TREBINJE Old Town. Very sleepy, very tranquil, but extremely beautiful.
And this is actually the old clock tower, which they believe dates back to around the 4th century. And we actually look out onto this from our balcony.
We just noticed that our accommodation, Humsko, they've also got this, I actually don't know if it's a mini or it's like a Yugoslavian mini. Zestrivo. Is that a Yugoslavian mini? I don't know, but it's pretty cool, sat there in front of the restaurant and the old clock tower. So today's plan is to head out of the old town and go back in later on when it gets busier with locals. So we're currently walking along the TREBINJE River, which is actually the world's longest sunken river, which I have no idea what that means. But while you're walking throughout the city, you will notice the differences. Like I said, a lot more churches, and you'll see a lot of Serbian and even Russian flags. But we have been told that if we keep heading up the river, they've actually created a natural swimming pool, which will be so nice, because Bosnia really is the country of rivers.
And this is where we were recommended to go. Bazen Bregovi. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, but essentially it's this natural pool where they pump water into, and as you can see, it's very busy. It's a weekend here, so people just come here to cool off.
I didn't think it'd be this big. So they're obviously pumping water out of the river into this bit, and it's sort of like closed off.
So it's a perfect little swimming spot.
I just really did not expect this to be this big. I thought it was just like a small little part of the river, but it's absolutely massive. And I feel like the whole of TREBINJE are out today as it's a Sunday, and they lay everywhere. There's just people laying on the concrete. Who needs beaches when you can come to a natural swimming pool like this? I think we're going to get in one of the bars. There's 2 bars here with ice cold draft beer, and I think some people are even going across, so you can go in the little pool that they've made, the little pool, the big pool, or you can go to the other side and just jump in the river, all natural.
Chivali, this is so funny, like everyone is staring at us. We look like proper outsiders, but 5 Bosnian marks for I think this is a Montenegrin beer, sat outside. I mean, this is like the perfect Sunday. Before we continue, we just want to say a quick thank you to our partners at Squarespace for helping us bring this video to life. Squarespace is an all-in-one website platform for whether you are just starting out or whether you're managing a growing business. We finally have a website after using Squarespace for the last few weeks. It's actually never been easier for you to create one for yourself. You can either use one of their amazing templates or you can build your own using the Squarespace Blueprint, which is actually a guided design system. Squarespace is super easy to create and customize in detail your very own website. You can drive sales and engage your audience with just the click of a few buttons. And you can even use the Squarespace app to edit your website on the go. Now, this is absolutely perfect for us to update our own website during our travels. Head on over to Squarespace for your free trial today. You can actually use the link in the description. It's our link, and you'll get 10% off your purchase of your first domain or website. Thank you so much to Squarespace for partnering with us, and let's get back to the video.
Oh, what? Oh, it's slippery. It's so slippery. What a location. This is, oh, the temperature is actually really nice. We ended up renting them 2 sunbeds right there for 5 Bosnian mark each. So around £2.50. We're going for it. I'm going for it. Why not? Oh. It's so fresh. Can you imagine doing this in the River Thames swimming? in the River Thames, you'd end up with some sort of disease.
I actually can't believe that they don't charge you to use this. Like, if this was back home, they'd definitely be charging you to use it, but it's free. You can just come and lay wherever you want. But as Matt said, we got the sunbeds, and yeah, it's really weird. Like, I thought it was going to be...
It really is river water.
No, it is just like filtered river water, and it's very algae on the bottom.
It definitely does have a different feel to the rest of Bosnia. It might be because of the location. I mean, you're 20 minutes from Dubrovnik, and you've got these stone. Look at that. Imagine living there in one of the old stone houses. What a refreshing part of the world this is. Trebinje. Kids are out being kids. They're playing in the river. They're playing football. They're not sat on their iPhone, on their Xbox, and they look after what is theirs. Their river is fresh. It is clean. You can swim in it, which can't be said for the UK. I feel like we could definitely take a few tips from this part of the world, a part of the world that I could definitely see myself living in the future. We could have spent all day there, honestly, drinking a few beers, not going for a nice, refreshing swim, but we do need to get some lunch, and I think burek is on the menu.
Just a slight change of plan. As it's a Sunday, most things are closed apart from restaurants. So we went to a very local supermarket and we decided to bring sort of the bakery to us, I suppose you could say. We picked up some sucuk, which is like the sausage. We picked up the kaymak, the cream cheese, the best thing ever. And we picked up, hopefully, some nice bread to go with a nice beer on the river.
It really doesn't get much better than this. Picnic on the river, looking out at the old town, and like I said, that Serbian influence. They're only selling Serbian beer. Jelen, that takes me back 4 years in the supermarket.
Now this is quintessential Balkans. Bread, meat, cheese, and I've got no cutlery, so I'm just
You're
dipping.
a real Balkan woman.
That is good.
And if you want to know about the best Balkan snack, Smokies. They are the best crisp you're going to find in this part of the world. They're like a What's-It, if from the UK, but covered in like peanut dust. They're so blooming good.
We decided to walk along the river, which obviously is a perfect way to let your food digest, but it's absolutely beautiful. Almost immediately you can notice the surroundings change. It's much more mountainous and you can really see how Trebinje is in the valley. But behind me you have the little old, I say little, old water mills here that they've kept. There's one on either side of the river. And
I've never seen these
cool.
ones, haven't we? I think we saw them in Syria once.
We saw them in
Homs. Still
Homs.
have them. Do you reckon it spins?
No, I'm not so sure. I don't want to try it either.
Yeah, that's it. YouTube finished. I am retiring in Trebinje. Look at the river. It's crystal clear. How can you see the bottom? Oh, it's just so nice. Of the river, people are out. Kids are jumping off the bridges. It's actually where we're heading now, to Trebinje's famous Ottoman Bridge. And here it is.
Pretty incredible, right? This is called the, oh god, I'm sure I'm going to say it wrong, Arslanagit Bridge, and it's a 16th century Ottoman bridge. Apparently it's the third most important or impressive in the whole country, obviously after Mostar and another, but it is pretty impressive. I feel like, again, because the surroundings are so different, that it just is so beautiful. I can't lie though, I want to get in this
It's so
part of the
inviting. Look at it. It's like they've got food dye in the river.
It's like the Blue Eye, isn't it? Like we went to that blue pools in Albania. It looks like that, but except this is the whole river.
I've got to get in. Ooh, careful. I've got a paddle. Oh, it is cold. The owner of our hotel did say that that was part of the reason that the swimming area was designed, because the river is so cold that it takes Right? It takes your breath away. They said if you get in and you jump straight in, your lips will turn blue. But it is, it's so worth it. Just look at that view. This is so good. Honestly, so good. I feel healthier already just walking around this town, and this was actually destroyed I think back in the 1960s when they built a dam and it flooded, so it was obviously rebuilt in the same style as the Ottomans did it. Normally you would say a bridge collapsing would be a bad thing, but because of the dam and the subsequent collapse, they actually moved the bridge 5 kilometers closer to town, so when you come as a tourist, everything is within walking distance. So, we tried to come to this place earlier, but we could not get a seat. There are literally queues going out the door for bloomin' ice cream. Welcome to Gurk, where they do ginormous bloomin' ice creams. And we were actually recommended this place by our friend in Mostar because he said people come far and wide, all over Bosnia, for the ginormous ice creams. And we went for the Kinder Bueno one, which was like the most expensive on the menu. And it's so Balkan, right? They bring you out your gigantic ice cream with a little glass of water like you're in a coffee shop. Worth the wait?
Yeah, it was. Oh my god. I was expecting maybe just 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream.
You get 5. Thank you, Vala. I was well and truly in a food coma from possibly the biggest ice cream I have ever eaten. But good morning, day number 2 from Trebinje here in Bosnia. And we had 2 options. Number 1 was a monastery. Number 2 was a water park. What decision do you think we made? Welcome to the Trebinje water park, one of the largest in the region. It cost 30 Bosnian marks each to get in, and these have my name written all over it. Who would have thought it, that Trebinje, of all places, has a giant water park? This isn't only a water park, this is the Grand Sunak, and it's owned by like a rich guy from the region, and he's just built everything. There's a water park, a dinosaur park, a spa, a gym, a bar, and a hotel, and it's just like 10 minutes outside of the city. It's massive, it's huge. I want to get down a slide and push kids out of the way. So the plan was to do something completely different and show you that there are options for everyone in Trebinje. And being our last day in Bosnia, I wanted to be a big kid. So cue the slides. Look at the views, mountains behind. It's a little bit rusty, I must admit. I'm not allowed to film! Woo! Whoa! Oh my god! Oh my god! Rule breakers! Oh god! Apple cider. Cheers. Who would have thought it, that in the blimmin' Balkans, in the small city of 35,000 people of Trebinje, health and safety is a thing. They wouldn't let me bring my GoPro on the slide, so I'm currently trying to hide it in my pocket and like film for a little bit as I go down, you know. The rule breaker that I am. But seriously, who has ever heard of health and safety in the blimmin' Balkans? Živeli.
Živeli.
That had to be the strictest water park you're going to find anywhere in the Balkans. It was fun, don't get me wrong, but there were so many rules. Molly was having to take off her jewellery, I was having to hide the GoPro. But if you do have an extra day like we did and it is summer, I would highly recommend going to the water park and acting like a child for the day. But we are back at Humsko enjoying an ice cold Carlsberg, and I think we're actually going to head up to the monastery that overlooks the city. But first, you just got to sit back. Look at this place. Is there a more beautiful location on the river in the world? I'm not sure. Cheers. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
To the monastery? Voila, thank you. Bye-bye.
And we are up above the beautiful city of TREBINJE. I'm going to try my best to pronounce it. This is the Herzegovina Gračanica, I believe, and essentially it's a Serbian Orthodox monastery that was put here, I believe, in 2000, so it's actually fairly new. I'm not sure if there was anything before that. They say that it's actually a replica of a monastery similar in Kosovo, but you just have 360-degree views of the mountains. We are right on the hill, right? You are so high up on the hill. We actually took a taxi here because there was no way I wanted to walk up here.
Not a bad view at all, and you should definitely go inside and check out the frescoes. They're so detailed, so colourful, but the view itself is definitely the reason you come up here. Such a lush green city with the rivers below. You can see the old Ottoman bridge that we visited yesterday. I'm just starting to worry about the fact that we aren't getting a taxi back. We're gonna have to walk all the way back down. But that does bring our 2-week journey across Bosnia and Herzegovina to an end, from Sarajevo, Travnik, Mostar, and everything in between. I think we actually found our favourite place at the very end, TREBINJE. Of course, it is overlooked a lot compared to the more touristy spots like Mostar and Sarajevo, but this is a city I could definitely see myself coming back to, and perhaps even living in it. It's so clean, so fresh, the people are so friendly. I mean, look at this. We're going to chill out, enjoy sunset, and I hope we have changed your perception of Bosnia. A lot of people still think of the war, but that was 30 years ago. This country has advanced so much, and there are so many unique destinations to explore in the country of rivers, the country of blooming countryside. Look at it, it's so green, there are so many valleys, but we will be heading to a brand new country, Croatia, the Croatian coast in peak season. Wish us luck, and I'm going to need it for this blooming walk back to town. See you in the next one.